The rejection captain Alara Voss stood alone in the vast chamber of the Galactic Confederation's High Council. The curved walls soared upward, adorned with the symbols of 1,000 worlds. Light from an artificial sun filtered through stained glass, casting rainbows across the polished stone floor. Around her, tiered seating rose like a coliseum, filled with representatives of civilizations that had mastered the stars long before humans had invented the wheel. She straightened her dress uniform, conscious of every eye upon her. 30 years of preparation had led to this moment. 30 years since first contact had revealed that humanity was not alone in the universe. 30 years of unprecedented cooperation among Earth's nations, of cleaning oceans and atmosphere, of ending conflicts and redirecting resources toward peaceful expansion into the solar system, all to earn this chance, to join the galactic community as equals. The High Chancellor, a being with crystalline skin that refracted light in hypnotic patterns, rose from the central podium. Their voice resonated through the chamber, translated seamlessly by the neural implant behind Alara's ear. Representatives of the Galactic Confederation, we have deliberated on the application of species designation Sol 3, commonly self-referred to as humans, for probationary membership. The Chancellor paused, their faceted eyes sweeping the chamber. The application has been denied. Alara felt as though the artificial gravity had doubled. She must have misheard. "Excuse me, High Chancellor, could you please repeat the decision?" The application has been denied, the Chancellor repeated, voice devoid of emotion. Earth is not yet ready for membership in the Confederation. A representative from the Volari Dominion, a methane breather encased in an environment suit, stood. The species is still developmentally immature. They achieved spaceflight mere centuries ago. Their genetic engineering is rudimentary. Their neural capabilities are unaugmented. They show disturbing tendencies toward rapid, unpredictable innovation, added a floating collective of bioluminescent entities. Their technology evolves in chaotic patterns rather than along established, proven pathways. And they are emotionally volatile, said a reptilian dignitary. Their decision-making incorporates intuition and gut feeling alongside logic. This is dangerously unpredictable. Alara clenched her jaw, forcing herself to remain diplomatic. With respect, these traits have allowed us to overcome significant challenges. Our adaptability is precisely the concern, interrupted the High Chancellor. The decision is final, Captain Voss. Earth may reapply in one standard century, 100 years. Everyone who had worked toward this moment would be dead. Generations would pass before humanity would have another chance. High Chancellor, surely there is a path forward. That this session is concluded. The representatives began filing out, some casting curious glances at her, most ignoring her completely. A small avian being approached, its feathers shifting, in patterns that conveyed sympathy. "I voted in favor of your world, Captain," it said softly. "Some of us recognize potential when we see it, but the old powers fear change." "Thank you," Alara replied, her voice steady despite the turmoil inside. "May I ask your name?" "I am Kirnax of the Avis Collective. We were once denied as well, though that was millennia ago." The avian tilted its head. "A word of advice. The paths to the stars are many. The Confederation controls the broadest highways, but they do not own the sky." With that cryptic statement, Kirnax departed, leaving Alara alone in the massive chamber. The journey back to Earth aboard the UES Endeavour was the longest 3 weeks of Alara's life. She replayed the rejection countless times, analyzing every word, every implication. Her crew gave her space, sensing her need to process what had happened. On the final day of their return voyage, her first officer, Commander Alejandro Reyes, found her in the observation deck, staring at the approaching blue marble of Earth. "Captain, the crew is asking what we tell Earth when we land tomorrow." Alara didn't turn from the viewport. "We tell them the truth, Alejandro. We tell them we were judged and found wanting." "And then?" Now she turned, and Reyes was startled by the fire in her eyes. "And then we show the galaxy exactly what they're afraid of. Our ability to adapt, to innovate, to defy expectations." She smiled, a predator's smile. The Confederation denied us a seat at their table, so we'll build our own. The announcement of Earth's rejection triggered global outrage, then determination. Within weeks, the United Earth Council convened an emergency session in Geneva. Representatives from every nation gathered to hear Captain Voss's first-hand account and determine humanity's response. They called us unpredictable, Alara told the assembly. Evolutionarily immature, too emotional, too intuitive, too innovative. She paused, looking around the historic chamber. They're right, and those are our greatest strengths. Secretary General Kwame Osei took the podium after her. Ladies and gentlemen, today we launch Project Horizon. If the Confederation won't have us, we will forge our own path among the stars. Project Horizon became the most ambitious undertaking in human history. The brightest minds on Earth were recruited. Dr. Yusuf Amari, whose theories on quantum entanglement had revolutionized communications, Dr. Lin Zhao, the pioneer of zero-point energy, General Maria Hernandez, who had led the unification of Earth's defensive forces. Working in facilities across the globe, they began developing technologies that pushed the boundaries of what the Confederation believed possible. Traditional R&D cycles were compressed from decades to years, then to months. Innovation flowed like a river unleashed from a dam. Dr. Amari's team achieved a breakthrough within 18 months, a propulsion system that could achieve speeds the Confederation had deemed theoretically impossible for younger species. Dr. Zhao's zero-point generators provided virtually unlimited energy to power it. Most surprisingly, a team led by Dr. Hiroshi Nakamura discovered that the human brain's unpredictable nature allowed for a unique approach to navigational computing. By integrating human intuition with quantum algorithms, they developed navigation systems that could plot courses through space in ways the logical, linear Confederation AI couldn't conceive. They thought our unpredictability was a flaw, Dr.
Nakamura explained to the Project Horizon Oversight Committee. But in higher dimensional mathematics, our intuitive leaps are actually an advantage.
While Earth prepared, Captain Voss received a new assignment: to command the UES Pathfinder, the first ship equipped with the new technologies. Her mission: explore beyond Confederation space, seeking other civilizations that might have been similarly rejected or overlooked. The avian representative mentioned there are many paths to the stars. She told her crew during their first briefing. We're going to find those paths, and those who walk them. Within 2 years, they made first contact with the Novan Collective, a species of silicon-based beings who had been denied Confederation membership for being fundamentally incompatible with carbon-based diplomatic protocols. The Novans were fascinated by humanity's approach and eagerly shared their own unique technologies in exchange for human innovations. Next came the Merak Trade Alliance, a loose coalition of 3 species who operated in the shadows of Confederation. Influence conducting commerce in resources the Confederation deemed worthless. They had never applied for membership, recognizing the futility, but had developed sophisticated stealth and scanning technologies to avoid Confederation patrols. With each new contact, Earth's technological capabilities expanded exponentially. The Novan's expertise in material science combined with human innovation led to hull materials stronger and lighter than anything the Confederation possessed. The Merak trading algorithms, fused with human game theory, created economic models that predicted resource needs with uncanny accuracy. 5 exploratory vessels became 10, then 50. Each carried the message: there is another way. The stars need not belong only to the ancient civilizations. Together, the overlooked could create something new. By the 5th year after Earth's rejection, Captain Voss stood on the bridge of the UES Ascendant, flagship of what was now called the Alliance of Independent Systems. Behind her stretched a fleet of 100 ships, representing 17 species from across the galaxy, all deemed unworthy by the Galactic Confederation. Captain, her communications officer called, we're receiving a transmission from Earth. Ambassador Chen has requested your presence at the first formal diplomatic summit between the Alliance and the Confederation. Ilara smiled, thinking of the avian representative's words years ago. The Confederation might control the highways, but they didn't own the sky. And now, humanity and its allies were proving just how vast that sky truly was. "Set course for Earth," she ordered. "It's time." The Confederation learns what they missed out on. The ascension 5 years after Earth's rejection by the Galactic Confederation, the diplomatic chamber of the newly constructed Alliance Nexus Station hummed with activity. Located at the precise midpoint between Earth and Nova Prime, the station served as the political heart of the Alliance of Independent Systems. 17 species united not by ancient traditions, but by shared innovation and mutual respect. Ambassador Li Chen, Earth's representative to the Alliance Council, studied the holographic display dominating the center of the chamber. It showed the known galaxy, with Confederation territories in blue and Alliance space in green. The green had been spreading rapidly, filling areas the Confederation had deemed resource-poor or strategically insignificant. "The Zenth system has formally requested membership," announced the Novan representative, their crystalline form glittering under the chamber lights. "Their application includes comprehensive technological exchanges, particularly their advances in atmospheric manipulation." "That would bring us to 22 member systems," noted Ambassador Chen, "and position us along the rimward approach to the Confederation's hegemony trade route." The chamber grew quiet. They all understood the implications. Until now, the Alliance had expanded away from Confederation space, avoiding direct confrontation. But the Zenth system, while technically independent, was considered within the Confederation's sphere of influence. "We knew this day would come," said Merak Prime, the elected leader of the Merak Alliance. "The question is, are we ready to defend our new allies if the Confederation objects?" Captain Alara Voss, recently promoted to Admiral and military commander of the Alliance fleet, stepped forward. "The Ascendant Battle Group is fully operational, the Novan defense grid is integrated with our sensor network, and the Merak stealth systems have been deployed throughout the border regions." She paused. "But our greatest advantage remains the Confederation's underestimation of our capabilities." The council chamber's doors slid open, admitting a flustered diplomatic aide. "Ambassadors, we've received an emergency transmission. A Confederation diplomatic cruiser has entered the Tau Ceti system and is requesting an immediate audience with the Alliance leadership." Ambassador Chen exchanged glances with Admiral Voss. "It seems our time of quiet growth is over," he said. "The Confederation has finally noticed us." The meeting was arranged in neutral space, a station orbiting Tau Ceti's outermost gas giant. The Alliance delegation arrived first. Ambassador Chen, Admiral Voss, and representatives from the Nova and Merak civilizations. They waited in the sparse conference room, its viewport offering a magnificent view of the planet's swirling storms. The Confederation delegation arrived with typical ceremony. High Chancellor Zexitalan entered first, their crystalline form, now, familiar to Voss, followed by representatives from the 3 oldest Confederation species. They took their places across the table, making no effort to hide their disdain for the meeting's neutral setting. "Ambassador Chen," the High Chancellor began without preamble, "the Galactic Confederation has observed with growing concern the formation and expansion of your alliance. This unauthorized coalition threatens the stability of established galactic order." Chen smiled pleasantly. "High Chancellor, there is nothing in Confederation law that prohibits independent worlds from forming their own associations. As non-members, we are not bound by Confederation restrictions. The Zenth system falls within Confederation-protected space," countered a Valeri representative. "Your recruitment efforts there constitute interference in our sphere of influence." "The Zenth approached us," Admiral Voss interjected, "as did every member of our alliance. Unlike the Confederation, we don't require centuries of petitioning for the privilege of membership." The High Chancellor's crystalline features refracted light in patterns that suggested irritation. "The Confederation has maintained peace for 10,000 years by carefully managing technological development and interspecies relations. Your alliance disrupts this balance." "What the Chancellor means," said Chen, "is that the Confederation has maintained its power by controlling who gets access to advanced technology and trade routes." His voice remained diplomatic, but his words were pointed. The alliance offers an alternative: equal exchange of ideas, mutual defense, respect for cultural and biological diversity. Pretty words, dismissed the Volari representative, but the fact remains: the Zenth system will not be permitted to join your alliance, and to ensure there is no misunderstanding, the Confederation will be establishing a permanent military presence in the system. Admiral Voss leaned forward. That would be unwise. The Confederation representatives exchanged looks of amusement. Admiral Voss, said the High Chancellor, while your determination is noted, you must understand the reality of the situation. The Confederation fleet comprises over 10,000 vessels. Your alliance, by our intelligence estimates, fields perhaps 300. Your intelligence is outdated, Voss replied calmly. Regardless, this meeting was a courtesy to inform you of our decision, not to negotiate. The High Chancellor rose. The Zenth system remains under Confederation protection. Any attempt to incorporate it into your alliance will be considered an act of aggression. As the Confederation delegation turned to leave, Ambassador Chen spoke. High Chancellor, 5 years ago, you told Captain Voss that humanity was unpredictable, emotionally volatile, and dangerously innovative. He smiled. You were right, and you're about to discover exactly what that means. 3 days later, the Confederation made good on its threat. A battle group of 20 vessels entered the Zenth system, establishing orbit around its primary world. Their commander transmitted a system-wide message declaring Confederation protection and warning against Alliance interference. 6 hours after that, sensors across the system detected a massive energy surge. Space seemed to fold in on itself, as a swirling vortex of blue-white energy formed near the system's edge. From this artificial wormhole emerged the UES Ascendant, followed by 5 more Alliance capital ships of various designs. The Confederation commander immediately ordered his forces to battle stations, transmitting demands for the Alliance fleet to withdraw. Admiral Voss, standing on the Ascendant's bridge, simply smiled. All ships activate the Nakamura field, she ordered. Across the Alliance fleet, quantum distortion fields shimmered into existence. On the Confederation vessel's sensors, the 6 Alliance ships suddenly appeared to be 60, then 600, perfect duplicates indistinguishable from the originals. What is this deception? Demanded the Confederation commander over an open channel. Not deception, Voss replied. Innovation, something you fear so much you rejected us for it. She nodded to her weapons officer. Tactical demonstration, please. Single shot fired from the Ascendant, a beam of energy unlike anything in the Confederation arsenal. It struck an uninhabited moon orbiting the gas giant, and for a moment, nothing happened. Then the surface began to shimmer, and a perfect hemisphere of the moon simply vanished, leaving a smooth concave depression 1,000 kilometers across. 0-point decoupler, Voss explained to the stunned Confederation commander. It separates matter from space-time. Quite efficient and remarkably clean. No radiation, no shockwave, no debris. She paused. We could have targeted your ships instead of the moon. Silence hung heavy over the communication channel. Finally, the Confederation commander spoke, his translated voice noticeably subdued. What are your terms, Admiral? Simple. The Confederation will recognize the Alliance of Independent Systems as a sovereign political entity. The Zenth system, along with any other independent system, will be free to join whichever organization they choose, and a new diplomatic framework will be established between our civilizations, as equals. The High Council will never agree to— They already have, interrupted Ambassador Chen, joining Voss on the command deck. While we've been talking, similar demonstrations have been occurring in 11 other systems along the Confederation border. The High Chancellor has just transmitted acceptance of our preliminary terms. The Confederation fleet withdrew from the Zenth system within hours. Within weeks, the Treaty of Tau Ceti was signed, formally recognizing the alliance and establishing boundaries, trade agreements, and diplomatic protocols between the two galactic powers. In the years that followed, the balance of power shifted. The alliance continued to grow, incorporating systems that valued innovation and adaptability over tradition and stability. The Confederation, faced with this new reality, gradually began to reform, loosening some of its more restrictive membership requirements and technology-sharing prohibitions. Admiral Alara Voss eventually retired from military service to become the Alliance's first High Ambassador to the Confederation. During her confirmation ceremony, held in the Alliance Nexus Station, she reflected on the journey that had brought humanity to this moment. When the Confederation rejected Earth's application, they told us our unpredictability, our emotionality, our intuitive approach to problem-solving made us unfit for membership, she told the assembled representatives of 27 worlds. They were right, but not in the way they thought. We were never meant to be just another member of their ancient order. We were meant to forge a new path. She gazed out at the representatives of silicon beings and methane breathers, of hive minds and individualists, of ancient species and newly spacefaring civilizations, all united not by conformity but by diversity. Humanity's greatest gift to the galaxy wasn't our technology or our resources. It was our audacity, our refusal to accept the limits others placed on us. They denied us a seat at their table, so we built our own. She smiled. And as it turns out, ours has room for everyone. The gathered representatives rose in a standing ovation that echoed through the chamber and across Alliance space, the sound of a new era dawning, sparked by humanity's defiant response to rejection. Not anger, not isolation, but the creation of something greater than what had come before. In the observation lounge after the ceremony, Voss found herself approached by a familiar avian figure, Kirnax of the Avis Collective, now serving as a liaison between the Alliance and Confederation. I told you there were many paths to the stars, Kirnax said, feathers shifting in patterns of amusement. You did, Voss agreed, though I don't think either of us imagined we'd build our own highway. Perhaps I did, the avian replied enigmatically. My species has a saying, the most determined climber will build a ladder when the tree is too tall. Voss laughed. In human terms, we'd say, if they won't give you a seat at the table, bring your own chair. Kirnax's feathers rippled with delight. I believe your version is more direct. How very human of you. The avian gestured toward the viewport, where Earth shone as a bright blue star. And how fortunate for the galaxy,